January the 25th. Tonight is Burns Night, when by tradition in the poetry of Robert Burns is read aloud and haggis is eaten. One of his most famous poems, To a Mouse, the Wee Timorous Beastie, was inspired when he accidentally destroyed one of their nests while ploughing a field as a young man. His brother said that he composed the poem on the spot. Referring to the nest itself, he wrote, "That wee bit heap of leaves and stubble, how cost thee many a weary nibble, now's thou's turned out for all thy trouble." The poem ends with him comparing the mouse's life with his own, concluding the mouse has it easier, being aware only of the present, with no fear of the past nor the future. Mammals. Few mammals, including mice, are visible this month. Foxes may be seen in gardens or crossing roads, deer in parks, and perhaps the occasional rabbit or rat. Sometimes water voles may be heard plopping into water as they make an escape on rain and marshes. However, the capital's hedgehogs and most of its mice and bats are all sleeping deeply, and badgers, weasels, stoats and hares are just making the occasional appearance on warm days. The much maligned grey squirrel is the most commonly encountered of our wild mammals. They only retreat to their well-upholstered drays on the coldest of days. They now sport a fine coat with a handsome white chest and an enormous tail, the hairs of which having several different bands of colour. Squirrels are already courting, with several males chasing females for hours at a time. The courting involves much chattering, sneezing, clicking, squeaking, tail wagging, and even occasionally some mutual grooming. Deer. The red deer stags around London now have their grey-brown winter pelage, which may appear almost black from a distance. They are spending more time alone in good cover, where they merge perfectly with the dead grass. Meanwhile, the hinds are remaining in herds with their offspring. Roe deer, the only truly wild deer in London, have now got mouse-coloured coats compared with their usual red-brown. Being mainly nocturnal, they are unlikely to be seen. Fallow deer vary in colour at this time, but have not got the heavy spotting so typical of summer. The fallow deer in Bushy Park are occasionally very pale, appearing almost white in some lights. Muntjac arrived from China at the beginning of the last century and escaped from Woburn Abbey, and then later also from Whitslade Zoo. They started to be noticed in the wild in the 1920s, and from then on have spread widely, even entering London. They are shy, unobtrusive forest dwellers, preferring deep cover where they like to eat bramble. At this time of year, they have deep brown coats and white chins. Their tails are also white when they raise them with excitement. They are also small, perhaps only 40 to 45 centimeters in height, with dark V-shaped markings on their faces. The bucks have projecting canine teeth, which can be used against dogs, for which they have a natural antipathy. Their antlers are tiny, with just a short brow tine, and they are well known for their eerie bark. Tiger hunters used to listen out for these barks, as they often portrayed the presence of a tiger. Due to their shy nature and nocturnal habits, they are rarely seen, but are often heard. When they are encountered, they tend to dart off, holding their heads down as they go. Northall Great Forest is one place where they have occasionally been seen. Foxes. The Anglo-Saxons called January Wolf Month. It seems likely wolves were seen more as they got hungrier. The last one in Britain was killed in the 18th century, leaving just the familiar red fox in its place. Urban foxes often look at their most healthy this month. They have thick russet coats, white chests, and possibly a 40-centimeter long bushy tail, as well as handsome black tips to their ears. Courting has started, and groups of 3 may now be seen. There is an open mouth display, and males make noises quite unlike their customary vocalizations. It is the blood-curdling scream of the vixen that we notice most as she calls out to the males in the night. It has been likened to the cry of a soul in torment. The males often reply with a triple dog-like bark. These calls are usually heard between 1 and 3 hours after sunset. Mating can sometimes involve a number of males. With all this excitement, there is excessive scent marking, with both urine and feces, resulting in a ranker smell than is usual. The vixen can only be fertilized 3 or 4 days of the year, and those usually fall in January.